I think art and literature and music is so important because the way that we tell stories matters. You know, politicians or industrialists might tell one story about the world, but I don't think that necessarily it's always the true story. It can be a narrative used to dehumanize or demonize people, and I think language can be weaponized. Hi everybody, my name is Omar Musa from Australia. I'm an author, poet, rapper and visual artist, and I'm here at KLF Apostrophes.
Hi Omar.
Hi.
You are an interdisciplinary artist actually. Poems and hip hop somehow can connect, and on the other side you are a visual artist also,
Yes.
creator also. How you find yourself in between all these things that you do?
I think I have a hyperactive mind and I like to explore all of these different styles and genres and always keep myself on my toes. I always like to stay curious about different art forms and just try them out for fun. And I think as I'm getting older and more experienced as an artist, I'm trying to dissolve the perceived borders between all of these different genres, hopefully to come up with new and fresh vocabularies and languages for how I'm trying to tell my stories. Because I think at the heart of all of these things, I think of myself as a storyteller. And so I'm just trying to find different ways to tell stories, whether it's visual or musical or fictive.
Which represents you or which gives you the inner voice of you, Omar Musa, better? Hip hop, poems, or novels, or your visual creations? Which brings out you the best in you? Which brings out the real you?
Wow, it's quite a deep question actually. I think probably performing to a live audience is what brings out the best in me, because really deep down, I think what I want is to connect with other people. And I think that's the most immediate and direct way of connecting with other human beings and seeing the immediate reaction to your words, whether that is excitement or unease or some sense of connectedness. But I think the first thing that I was into actually as a little kid was visual art, was painting and drawing, because I was an only child. So I would often just sit by myself and make little drawings, and then sometimes I'd write my thoughts down. And my Australian grandmother was an amateur painter. And so that was a way that I connected with her. So actually, before poetry, before writing short stories or anything, I was drawing.
Okay, you come from a mixed heritage culture. You have back your home. Different kinds of culture are there.
Yes.
And art is something that it works beyond any border.
Yes.
Nothing interrupts art's flow. Nothing interrupts entertainment that arts provide,
Yes.
or the thoughts that arts provide. And when walls are coming between nations on the basis of immigration, on the basis of race, on the basis of wealth,
Yes.
when walls are coming up, how important is art that can speak for humankind?
Wow. I think art and literature and music is so important because the way that we tell stories matters. You know, politicians or industrialists might tell one story about the world, but I don't think that necessarily it's always the true story. It can be a narrative used to dehumanize or demonize people. And I think language can be weaponized in order to, as you say, put up barriers between people, sometimes even literal walls, like you hear about one certain politician in the USA, I won't name, who's always talking about putting up one big wall. But I think that through telling stories, through art, through new vocabularies, we can build bridges and extend the hand of empathy to others in a world where oftentimes it feels like there is a dearth of compassion and empathy. And so I think something like writing a novel or reading short stories, reading fiction, mankind has not come up with a better way of literally getting into the mind and reading the mind of another human being. Because I think this is the problem, is that like oftentimes we're in our own silos of ideologies or tribes, and people can feel so distant from us. But think about what a radical thing it is to be able to read a story and stick with that for hours, days, months, when you are inhabiting and literally reading the mind of another person. Suddenly, something that seems as frivolous or entertaining or enjoyable as reading a book becomes a very radical act. And I think it's just so important in this world that we have at the moment.
And please tell me your experience at Kerala. Is it the first time that you are coming for Kerala?
Yeah, this is my first time in Kerala. I have to say I've actually always wanted to come here. My mother came as an arts journalist to Kerala in the 1990s to go to the Surya Music Festival. I
Surya
believe.
Dance and Music Festival.
Dance and Music Festival. And she just raved about Kerala. My mum was always telling me, you have to go to Kerala. It's a fascinating place. People love the arts. People love reading, and said also that the food was incredible. So I've always been wanting to come to Kerala. And I guess life never brought me here until now. I'm 42 years old. And finally, my books have brought me here. And I've had such a good time, like engaging with really passionate readers, you know. I'm always amazed when I come to India, but I think particularly in Kerala, the passion that people have for the written and the spoken word, you can just see it. It's like actually quite mind-blowing. I was saying before off camera that I went to buy a copy of my own book, and I've never seen a bookstore like the one here at KLF where there are like long lines of people, young people especially, trying to come in to buy books and enjoy the words and come and see people that they might not have even heard of. Because, you know, I have to be humble here. Like, I'm from the other side of the world. I don't think a lot of people have actually heard of my writing or heard of me. But, you know, doing these sessions, there's just so many people coming to hear a new voice, learn a new story. And I find that really inspiring, actually.
Please tell me about your latest book also.
My latest book is called Fierce Land. It's a novel about two siblings from Malaysian Borneo, where my father comes from, who return after many years abroad for the funeral of their father, Yusuf Mansour, who's a very revered and rags to riches success story, I suppose, in modern Malaysia. He's a palm oil and logging baron. But as the story unfolds, you realize he was one of the most corrupt men in Southeast Asia and potentially had people disappeared on his rise to success. And so I suppose it's how the siblings are dealing with the ghosts of the past, with the sins of the father. And it's about, I suppose it's a ghost story in a way, as well as a family drama. But the ghosts are the ghosts of the forest, the ghosts of language, and also the ghosts of colonialism, which, as far as I can tell, is something that very much resonates here in India. Like when I talk to young people, I've found that the story, especially the environmental aspects of what I'm talking about, really resonates with people here.
So thank you so much for your time, Omar. It was very nice talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really grateful to be here.